Put that coffee mug down for a second and listen closely. You think you're just waking up your brain, but you are actually sending an emergency contract signal directly to your prostate. For most men over 60, that morning cup of coffee is a hidden detonator. Here is the clinical reality. Caffeine is a powerful adenosine antagonist. While it stops you from feeling tired, it simultaneously blocks the chemical signals that tell the smooth muscles of your pelvic floor to relax. Within 15 minutes of your first sip, your prostate isn't just energized, it is in a state of biochemical shock. Caffeine acts as a caustic irritant to the lining of your bladder, triggering microspasms that make you feel like you have to go, even when your bladder is nearly empty. But the real damage happens in your minerals. Every milligram of caffeine forces your kidneys to aggressively flush out magnesium and potassium, the two exact electrolytes your prostate requires to keep the urinary gate open. You aren't just drinking a stimulant, you are triggering a dehydration flush that leaves your pelvic basin acidic, cramped, and inflamed. This is why your stream feels like a struggle and why you're paying for that morning cup with 4 trips to the bathroom at 3 a.m. But you don't have to quit coffee. You just have to change the chemistry of the cup. Here is the invisible physics of your morning routine. Within 20 minutes of that first sip, your cortisol, the primary stress hormone, skyrockets. To your brain, that caffeine hit feels like a fight-or-flight emergency. Your body doesn't know you're just sitting in an office chair. It thinks you are running from a predator. To survive, your nervous system triggers peripheral vasoconstriction. It pulls blood away from your internal organs and shunts it to your large muscles. The first victim of this blood robbery is your pelvic basin. While you feel alert, your prostate is literally suffocating. Without fresh, oxygenated blood flow, the prostate tissue begins to sour with metabolic waste. This lack of circulation causes immediate hypoxic swelling. The gland expands, not because of growth, but because of fluid trap. You are sitting there with a stiff pelvis, creating a mechanical kink in the hose that makes your stream weak and hesitant. You aren't dealing with an old prostate. You are dealing with a vasoconstricted one. Your morning coffee has turned your masculine center into a desert. And until you restore the blood flow, no pill in the world can shrink that swelling. But we aren't going to quit the caffeine. We are going to biohack the biochemistry. Stop drinking naked coffee. If you want to save your sleep and your stream, you must change the molecular structure of your cup. Most men are drinking a highly acidic, mineral-stripping liquid that acts like sandpaper on their bladder lining. To fix this, we use the alchemical trinity. First, add a pinch of mineral-rich sea salt. This isn't for taste. It's an osmotic anchor. Caffeine is a ruthless diuretic that forces your kidneys to dump water and electrolytes. By adding trace minerals, you hold that hydration in your blood vessels instead of letting it flush into your bladder 20 minutes later. It stops the emergency urge before it starts. Second, add a high-quality fat, like ghee or MCT oil. Fat molecules wrap around the caffeine, creating a slow-release shield. Instead of a violent cortisol spike that slams your prostate shut, the energy is released gradually. You get the brain power without the pelvic spasm. Third, add cardamom or cinnamon. These aren't just spices, they are alkaline buffers. Coffee is incredibly acidic, and that acid irritates the prostatic urethra, causing the burning stutter during urination. These spices neutralize the acidity in the cup so it doesn't inflame your plumbing on the way out. These 3 simple additions turn your morning poison into a prostate-clearing tonic. The final secret to saving your prostate isn't about what you put in the cup. It's about when you put the cup down. You need to understand the pharmacokinetics of sleep. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours. If you drink a cup of coffee at 4 p.m., by midnight, half of that caffeine is still screaming through your nervous system. Even if you fall asleep, your prostate doesn't. Your pelvic floor remains electrically charged, in a state of semi-contraction that prevents the deep lymphatic drainage your body tries to perform during REM sleep. This is the 3 a.m. trap. Your bladder isn't actually full. It's just hypersensitive because the caffeine hasn't cleared your receptors. The urge center in your brain is being poked by a chemical stick. To break the cycle, you must implement the 2 p.m. hard stop. After 2 p.m., your prostate needs a cool-down period. Switch to mineral water or herbal infusions like nettle or hibiscus, which actually soothe the prostatic lining instead of irritating it. By the time your head hits the pillow, your cortisol is low, your pelvic muscles are soft, and your internal hydraulic pressure is normalized. Follow this 4-step protocol for 7 days, and you will stop managing your prostate and start mastering your flow. The morning cup is your fuel, the afternoon is your healing. Don't let your coffee own your nights.